For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, 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 for the record.
Like you saying about this GOAT talk, man. LeBron. Oh, my fault. Nope, not him. It's in hip hop, so it's LL Cool J. Is you got 3 Stacks. Who we talking about? Hove, that's right. December 4th, man. Black Album. For I back out it. You know what I mean? So Hove, man, Hove. So what we got to appreciate Hove about, man? Tell us a little bit how you got started on Hove. I know you from up New York, so you probably
I'm from
earliest mixtape.
Yeah, I'm from a whole lot of places, but I claim Lower East Side and Brooklyn. That's where my pops lived, Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. We lived a few short blocks away from Marcy Projects. I've never met Jay, never met Bleak, none of the cats from Rockefeller, but you could feel that essence as they was coming up pretty much like into a No Limit and Master P in your area. Like you felt that and you kind of walked through that whole thing. And as I said before on the pod, like I was raised off of Jay-Z and Locke's lyrics. Like those are my 2 favorite guys, Kid Style, Sheek, and Hove. So like just a lot of things that this guy has said over the years when you're talking about business, how to dress, how to move, how to act. It's like, it's just a lot of things that come to mind as far as just gems that he's giving you in the rhymes, whether they be simple or coded. And it's still things to this day that I'm picking up from Hove's stuff. So that's my guy, man. I can't say enough about
He killed the jersey movement, man. Like what I look like with a jersey. I'm 30 plus. Come on, man.
Briefly. It was brief. People went right back to it. But he did make them think about it.
He made you think about it. Like what you wearing out there, man. And that's the thing, man. Like in hip hop, he has touched like so much of this generation or our generation coming up with hip hop, not the newers coming off the Lil Waynes and all this little stuff, but they was highly influenced by the Jay-Z to the point where they got his rhymes written on their skin and everything is ingrained in them. Literally,
I even got a Rockefeller tattoo at one point or another, but it's covered up now because I was 19 and I barely had any money. But I was that much of a fanatic.
Yeah. And then speaking of Lil Wayne, them like Cash Money is kind of like how I got introduced into Jay-Z. So like down south, Mobile, Alabama. So like we ain't really listen to Jay-Z like that. I mean, we knew who he was. He had a little radio hits, Jigga What and all this little stuff. But it was like when his song he had with Juvie, where Juvie was just on the hook and Big Pimpin', those was the ones that drug me in. So we're talking about In My Lifetime Volume 3. That album is the first like where I really absorbed. I brought that album, listened to it, and as I got past those cuts, got a little deeper to his other cuts, and it was like, okay, man, this man over here saying something, Still don't know how he's gonna fit in my rotation, but he started to creep in, And then 9/11 happened, and you know what that means. Towers fell, but the Jay-Z dropped. Blueprint donated all his sales of that day too to the 9/11 charity.
Dude, and he's been doing a lot of stuff like that. He still do it for current rappers. You get caught up, you get jammed up. Jay-Z is somehow, somewhere in the rafters, being like the puppet master and orchestrating something for these rappers nowadays. So he's always, I think I forgot what album it was, but he was like saying something like the greatest form of giving is anonymous to anonymous.
Yeah,
like. So he just does that type of thing all the time, and then the stories get out of Hove helping out. He don't never hear it from, hey, I did this, or hey, I'm giving out turkeys. He just does, and I think that's dope about Hove too.
Because of what Meek Mill, he helped Meek Mill out of his situation.
Wayne,
he was the one helping out Wayne in his situation. He's responsible for J. Cole, putting J. Cole on. Your other boy, the cult leader, what's his name, Kanye West. Yeah. He's also responsible for that, so he has some flaws.
Hey, bro, real quick, I'm out of uniform. I can't.
New York. There we go. Okay.
Out of uniform.
But he had a couple retirements. We've been privy to probably 3-4 retirements now at this point. He's at the point where he
just really know about. Like one was after the first album,
the Black
out, and then the other one was Yeah, he said he was just only gonna make one album, and that was Reasonable Doubt. And then it went forward and was Black Album.
He was trying to retire before he.
Yeah, he wanted to be behind the scenes and do exec stuff and put other people on.
Oh, okay. But you know, so I guess before I even was knew about it, he was already retired. And then you had like the Black Album, that was the big one. Then he came back again. What was that album called? The red one. And then he retired.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah. He threw a little dirt at. Oh man, he came in on camera, dig a hole.
Yeah. But yo, speaking of Hove, man, like, what are your top 5 albums? And just give me a little bit of, why,
Top 5 Hove albums, man. So we'll go 5 to 1. 5 to 1. I'm gonna say Watch the Throne, number 5. Only reason I'm putting out that because it's kind of a feature album, but it's kill, man. That's like that album's like straight all the way through. It was like peak Kanye, peak
Jay.
Jay always been peak. So
but he just
but
Kanye
it's just
did
like
it
the
in
way
just the way that he really
brought out the best.
In Jay.
Yeah. And that album, that man, I just remember that concert and the wave of that concert. And them just ready performing, man. Like that was just a great time. Then number 4, I would say 444. That one, man, I like his most recent and what he's continued to bring. Like you saying, like he always trying to elevate and bring something new or bring you with him as he goes on this journey. As he go up here and he learns something new in life, he want to make sure where he's a mentor to everybody and throw it back out there. This is what you should be doing. Like, if you just think of like Blueprint 3 way talking about Tom Ford, but he's getting a little bit more into pain, showing you like what is wealth really, where you should really be investing and all this stuff. That's kind of what he opened up. And then he also put it up there, like, no matter where you go in life and everything, man, we still are shunned or put in the corner. So we gotta have us. I think that's what that album told me, like, all together. It's like, we gotta protect us and we gotta have us. And that's the only way we can truly build. That's why he's doing all these things and actually constantly gives back with him and his wife and everything. Cause they've been there, they at the top, but like, it's not, the view they ain't seeing too many of them at the top. So they would love for more to get brought up and put out there.
He did say that on Watch the Throne. Only spot a few blacks to high I go.
Yeah. And then number 3 would be the Blueprint. Man, I'm telling you. So I was already in the military at this point. 9/11 happened, changed up our whole outlook on things. Man, it was peacetime when we came in. It was a whole nother different lifestyle, and then 9/11 happened. That changed up so much and the way we worked out. But some kind of way, I still managed to go get that Blueprint that week, and just hearing that music during that time frame helped me escape a little bit away from what was going on, but still have the same gravitas, like of what the weight of the world is on you, and like this is how you survive. Like it still had that hustler spirit to it.
Yeah, I got a good story. Like at the time, my high school girlfriend, she had sent it to me, but going just into the military, I didn't know that you couldn't listen to your music when you got it. You know what I mean? So she had sent it, long right, after it came. So that was dope. But like, I had to wait all the way to the end of basic training, and that was like maybe the 3rd weekend or so when that happened, because I was in basic training during 9/11, and that kind of went down. So I had to wait to listen to that album, because you saw the trajectory that Jay was going on, after Volume 3, and it was building, you know what I mean? And then he dropped Blueprint, and it was like, that was it, you know what I mean? So that was like a dope story, and I always remember it for holding me down to like send my favorite artist album. So, shout out to you,
And that, another part on that, just like, no matter all that crazy stuff that was going on in the world, I still remember that album selling not in our location. Like, still.
And the Fab dropped that day too.
Yeah. So, man. And then number 2 would be the Blueprint 2 with a 2.1, not the full 2. He should have condensed it down and made it into one album. And I think I personally did that anyway. I made it into my own little mixtape. And I had the 2.1 before it was like 2.1. So surprisingly, he thought the same thing. And that's how it's released now, that 2.1. And it had all the songs that I had condensed anyway. So he kind of that tells me like he kind of figured like it was some fluff on that album and some other stuff, but that 2.1 is like perfect, man. The Watcher, like that whole album, man.
Get It My Way.
Yeah. And then my top album, pretty much most people ain't gonna probably agree with, but it's what touches me the most. It's American Gangster, man.
I know I shouldn't have did that.
This was once again,
right
Jay-Z was retired. He shouldn't have been doing no albums, and you wasn't expecting him to do it. You heard that he was supposed to be over the soundtrack for the movie American Gangster, but you didn't understand that. This is a whole album that was just had to feel the vibe of that. It was just something like it touched him, so it motivated him to do a whole album on that whole theme. And when you can theme something like that and just hold it and get a concept just completely off that, like, man, that was something that he hadn't really did, in my opinion. And just to show that he could do anything like that, because, I mean, that's how Nas did it. He'll walk you through what my life, it was written and all this little stuff. He's walking you through the hood. And but Jay-Z didn't really have that type of body of work. It was just a collection of songs. And
I was looking up some credits because I just wanted to be for sure as I was saying it. Then I remembered like the production, Sean C and LV from the Hitmen that did a lot of Biggie's earlier work and a lot of Bad Boy's earlier work. They killed that album, from top to bottom, man. I know they didn't produce every single song, but sheesh, they did the lion's share, and it is amazing.
Man, and then like halfway through the album, it gave you that break too, where it was just like, okay, he got this vibe, and then it had that ignorant shit and then with him and Beanie, and that just like gave you like, well, I'm gonna still give you something.
And then the shit that Pharrell did, I'm living it, I'm getting it, get it, boy. Yo, man,
classic album. That's like my favorite album, man. Like I play that all the way through anytime that's going through. It's never gonna just be one song.
Man.
The minute I get on there and I play one song, I got to hear the whole album. That's a vibe, man. That's it for me. For sure, how about yourself?
I mean, you just tackled American Gangster, so I already don't have too much more to add to that because you said a mouthful there, and I echo your sentiments. At number 4 for me, I would have Black Album would be my number 4. At number 3, I would have Reasonable Doubt for me, and then number 2, I would have Blueprint, and then at number 1 for me personally is Part 2. Volume 2. Okay. Volume 2. And the reason why it's Volume 2 is that's another sentimental thing. DMX and Hove came out, I believe, right around the same time, or even probably on the same day, if I'm not mistaken, in 98. And then that's when I was like an avid fan. As soon as I get it from wherever I was going, whether it was the Wiz or whatever store it was in the city, wherever you get your stuff from, listening to it on my way home, and I'm like, bro, I'm like 3 stops away from my house on the train. I done missed my stop. I'm so into the album because it's that dope. So that's one of the ones. And it just from top to bottom, man. Jigga What, Jigga Who, Money Cash Hoes, Hard Knock Life. And then the B-sides of it is just cold as well. The joint with Kid Capri is like that. That's still one of my low-key favorite joints. I'm a hop, skip, and a jump, a grip, and a pump. Spitting a couple of curves. Like, he just was going off on that. It's like that. And that's on the B-side. Black Album, for me, man, that's probably his, like, one of them albums to where you like, damn, he's leaving, but he's still rapping so goddamn well. At the time, he was like, this can't be true. He's lying.
But you knew wasn't true.
This can't be true.
Retired.
You know what I mean? Like, step inside the booth, Superman's alive. Like, and then December 4th.
December 4th. Hey, that's why we talking about it, right?
Yeah, man. Crazy. But
had his mom on the album.
Blueprint, like I said, it's number 2 for me, but it's really 1 and 1A with Volume 2 and Blueprint, because Blueprint is really where, as a young man, I'm understanding now at this point what he's really talking about. And, of course, the diss track that was heard around the world as far as the top diss tracks ever. And I don't even want to get into who won the battle.
We know who won,
but
Nas with that Ether, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that was before Ether came back out. Boy, people were saying it's over for Nas. They was putting him in his grave, because Nas was cold for a while. But man, Hove has a really long career, man, and it's just like he still continues to amaze us. He still is dropping shit like 444, which is not in my top 5 because it's super recent. But I've sat with these albums and listened to them time and time and time again. You also had Watch the Throne on there, which is another thing. I mean, I know this is taboo to say, but this is not a classic album, but it was a classic moment. Even though this dude is a crazy pedophile.
Best of both
worlds. I was playing the intro the other day. Best of.
So you still playing R. Kelly too, huh?
That one I make an exception. I'll make an exception for that one.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it was like, I mean, that was like back when we didn't really understand everything that was going on or know what everything was going on.
Or care to know.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say for that moment and what he was able to create with him, man. But they immediately had like, that's when the stuff started coming out. That's when the tapes came out. Like when they were supposed to be on their press tours and all this stuff, and actually started touring on it, and that didn't happen no more, man. But man,
yeah, that was a really good album.
That was a
lot of sleepers, man. But like we said, man, Hove has inspired a lot of people. No matter where you from, you all acknowledge him as one of the greats, and that's all you really can ask for when you start out and doing this music thing, man. So, but you got any final words? The GOAT,
not the GOAT, a goat, one of the goats though. Yeah, GOAT of his time. Yeah, all right, I give him that.
For sure.
Yeah.
But again, happy birthday, Hove. If you're watching, we sure you're not, but we still wanted to take the time to give you a second.